Ryan Kim had fired 16 assistants in 3 months. They called him the Korean guillotine, behind his back. So when he walked into his company's lobby at 11 p.m. on a random Tuesday, the last thing he expected was to hear someone singing. And not just singing, destroying a Whitney Houston song, in the cleaning supply closet, with a mop as a microphone. Ryan Kim stood frozen in his $3,000 Italian leather shoes, completely unable to move, because the voice coming from that closet, it was about to ruin his entire life. Hey besties, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, you've just stumbled onto the best storytelling corner of YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell, and drop a comment telling us where you're watching from. Now, let's dive into this deliciously dramatic story. The singing stopped abruptly. Ryan found himself absurdly disappointed, like someone had snatched away dessert before he'd taken a bite. The supply closet door creaked open, and a woman emerged holding a mop like it was a Grammy award. She was wearing the standard navy blue cleaning uniform, her black hair pulled back in a sleek, low bun that somehow looked more elegant than the hairstyles he'd seen at charity galas. Her skin was a rich, deep brown, and her eyes, when they landed on him, held absolutely zero fear. That was new. Building's closed, she said flatly, unless you're here to steal office supplies, in which case, the good staplers are on the 3rd floor. I won't tell. Ryan blinked. Nobody talked to him like that. Not his board members, not his competitors, not even his own mother, who still tried to set him up with every Korean woman between the ages of 25 and 35 within a 100-mile radius. I own this building, he said. The woman, her name tag read Petra, looked him up and down. Her expression suggested she'd seen more impressive specimens at a gas station at 3 a.m. Sure you do, sweetheart. And I'm Beyoncé. You do sing like her, Ryan heard himself say. Well, maybe Whitney Houston. That was I Will Always Love You, wasn't it? The whistle notes need work, but the emotion was. Are you critiquing my mop karaoke? Petra Winslow planted one hand on her hip. At midnight, in your alleged building. It's 11:52, technically. Oh, forgive me, that changes everything. She started pushing her cleaning cart toward the elevators. Listen, Mr. I own this building. I've got 4 more floors to clean, an 8 a.m. shift at another job, and exactly 0 patience for whatever this is. So unless you want to grab a mop and help. What's your name? She paused, turned, raised one perfect eyebrow. It's on my shirt. Do they not teach reading at Rich People Academy? Ryan felt something strange happening to his face. It took him a moment to identify it. He was smiling. He hadn't genuinely smiled in approximately 14 months. Petra, he read. Petra what? Petra, none of your business. She jabbed the elevator button. Petra, go find someone else to bother. Petra, I have work to do. The elevator doors opened. She pushed her cart inside and turned to face him, finger hovering over the buttons. Word of advice, Mr. Building Owner. The next time you want to impress a woman, maybe don't do it while she's mopping your lobby at midnight. The power dynamic is weird. Also, your tie is crooked. The doors closed. Ryan looked down at his tie. It was, in fact, slightly crooked. He straightened it, still smiling like an idiot, and pulled out his phone. Get me everything on a cleaning staff member named Petra, he texted his head of HR. Works the night shift in the main building. I want her full file on my desk by 7 a.m. His phone buzzed 3 seconds later. Sir, it's midnight. Also, that seems like a potential HR violation. Also, are you okay? You never text with complete sentences. Ryan typed back, 7 a.m., and order flowers, the expensive kind. For whom, sir? Ryan paused, thumb hovering over the keyboard. I'll let you know when I figure it out. By 7:14 a.m., Ryan had slept approximately 45 minutes, consumed 3 cups of black coffee, and read Petra Winslow's employee file 17 times. There wasn't much in it. Name, Petra Winslow. Age, 25. Position, night cleaning staff. Emergency contact. Listed as not applicable, I'll handle it myself. He'd actually laughed out loud at that part, which made his assistant Jennifer drop her tablet in shock. In 18 months of working for him, she'd never heard him laugh. She'd started to suspect he was actually a very sophisticated robot. "Sir," Jennifer said carefully, retrieving her tablet, "you have a board meeting in 20 minutes, a conference call with the Seoul office at 9, and your mother called 6 times this morning. She says, and I quote, 'Tell my ungrateful son that Park Soo-young's daughter is a dentist and very flexible with her schedule. Cancel the board meeting.'" Jennifer's eye twitched. "Sir, we've already rescheduled 3 times. The board members are starting to question your commitment to reschedule the board meeting. Keep the Seoul call. And tell my mother I'm unavailable for the next decade. Your mother also mentioned she has photos from your childhood that she will release to the media if you don't call her back." Ryan pinched the bridge of his nose. "Which photos?" "She mentioned something about a Batman costume and an unfortunate incident with a fountain." "Cancel the Seoul call too. I need to deal with this." Jennifer made a note on her tablet, then hesitated. "Sir, if I may ask, you seem different today. Did something happen?" Ryan thought about Petra Winslow and her mop microphone. He thought about the way she'd looked at him like he was a minor inconvenience rather than a business titan. He thought about the fact that she'd told him his tie was crooked and hadn't even flinched. "I met someone," he said. Jennifer dropped her tablet again. By noon, Ryan had learned 3 additional facts about Petra Winslow. Fact 1. She worked 3 jobs. Night cleaning at Kim Industries, his company. Morning barista at a coffee shop called The Grinding Truth. Terrible name. He'd have to look into that. Weekend receptionist at a recording studio in Koreatown called Soundwave Studios. Fact 2. She had absolutely no social media presence. None. Not even a dormant Facebook account from 2009. In 2024, this was either deeply suspicious or deeply impressive. Fact 3. According to the night security guard, bribed with a $200 gift card to his favorite steakhouse, she sang every single night. Different songs, always in the supply closet, always when she thought no one was listening. "She's got a voice like honey and gravel," the security guard, a man named Doug, had said with surprising poetry. "Makes me miss my ex-wife, but in a good way, you know, like I'm glad she's gone, but I can appreciate the memories while listening to this lady sing Adele." Ryan had nodded like he understood, which he didn't, because his romantic history consisted of 3 relationships that had ended with variations of "you care more about your company than you'll ever care about me," and 1 memorable incident involving a woman who'd sold their private text messages to a tabloid. Now he was standing in the lobby at 11:30 p.m., pretending to review something very important on his phone, waiting for a cleaning lady to emerge from the supply closet. His mother would be horrified. Ryan didn't care. At 11:43 p.m., the elevator dinged, and Petra Winslow emerged pushing her cleaning cart, wearing the same navy uniform, her hair in the same elegant bun. She saw him and stopped dead. "Oh, you've got to be kidding me." "Good evening," Ryan said, pocketing his phone. He'd practiced this in the mirror for 15 minutes. He'd looked insane. He'd done it anyway. "Do you not have a home?" Petra asked. "A mansion? A yacht? A private island where you can bother other billionaires instead of working women?" "I'm not a billionaire. Your watch says otherwise." Ryan glanced at his wrist. She was observant. That was annoying and attractive in equal measure. "I wanted to apologize for last night," he said. "I was abrupt." "You were weird," Petra corrected, resuming her cart pushing. "There's a difference. Abrupt would have been fine. Weird was weird." Ryan fell into step beside her. She smelled like lemon cleaning solution. And something else. Vanilla, maybe. It shouldn't have been appealing. It absolutely was. "Can I ask you something?" he said. "You're going to anyway. Rich people don't actually ask permission. Why do you work 3 jobs?" Petra stopped walking. She turned to face him, and for the first time, Ryan saw something flicker behind her eyes. Not vulnerability, nothing so simple, more like a door that had been opened a crack and then firmly closed. "Why do you stay at your office until midnight?" She counted. "Why are you here 2 nights in a row, talking to a cleaning lady, instead of doing whatever CEOs do? Counting money, swimming in gold coins, attending secret Illuminati meetings?" "The Illuminati meets on Thursdays," Ryan said. I'm more of a weekend conspiracy guy. Petra's lips twitched, almost a smile. Not quite. Good night, Mr. Building Owner. Ryan, he said. My name is Ryan Kim. She tilted her head, studying him like he was a puzzle she wasn't sure she wanted to solve. I know who you are, she said quietly. I've worked in this building for 8 months. Your face is literally in the lobby, on a plaque, with inspirational quotes about synergy and innovation. Ryan winced. That was the marketing department's idea. I hate that plaque. You should. It makes you look constipated. She walked away, pushing her cart toward the east corridor. Ryan stood in the lobby for a long moment, replaying the conversation in his head, trying to figure out why he felt like he'd just lost something important. The grinding truth was exactly as terrible as Ryan had expected. The decor was aggressive: exposed brick, reclaimed wood, chalkboard menus with aggressively quirky descriptions. The Wi-Fi password was CaffeinAteMe69. The baristas all had names like Sage and River and Moon. Except one. Petra Winslow stood behind the counter at 8:47 a.m., wearing a brown apron over a simple white t-shirt, her hair still in that perfect bun, making a latte with the kind of aggressive efficiency that suggested she'd done this approximately 10,000 times. Ryan joined the line. There were 6 people ahead of him. He waited. Ryan Kim, who had people to wait for him, who hadn't stood in a line since 2019, who could buy this entire coffee shop and turn it into a parking lot, stood in line like a normal human being. His disguise was not subtle. He'd worn a baseball cap. He didn't own baseball caps. Jennifer had been forced to purchase one at 6 a.m. from a 24-hour sporting goods store, and sunglasses, indoors, which made him look less like a CEO and more like a celebrity avoiding a DUI. It was not working. Sir, the woman in front of him said, Are you Ryan Kim, from Forbes? No. You look exactly like him. I get that a lot. We're distant cousins. Can I get a selfie? No. I have a skin condition. It's very tragic. The woman retreated, confused and suspicious. Finally, Ryan reached the counter. Petra looked up from the espresso machine, saw him, and her expression went through approximately 17 stages of disbelief before settling on resigned irritation. Of course, she said. Of course you're here. I wanted coffee. There are 9,000 coffee shops in Los Angeles. You picked this one because... Yelp reviews. Very compelling. Someone said your cold brew changed their life. That's because our cold brew has twice the legal caffeine limit. It doesn't change your life. It just makes your heart do weird things. She grabbed a cup, marker poised. What can I get you? Surprise me. Petra's eyes narrowed. Dangerous choice. I once served a rude customer a quad-shot espresso with sugar-free vanilla and oat milk, he cried. Because it was bad? Because he was lactose intolerant, didn't tell me, assumed oat milk was fake, drank it anyway, and had a very public emotional breakdown about his divorce. The oat milk was a trigger, apparently. His ex-wife was into wellness stuff. Ryan stared at her. That's the most chaotic thing I've ever heard. Welcome to customer service. She started making something. Ryan couldn't tell what. Her movements were quick, practiced, almost artistic. Why are you really here, Mr. Kim? Ryan. Mr. Kim. I wanted to see you. The espresso machine hissed. Petra didn't flinch, didn't pause, didn't acknowledge the statement at all. That's concerning, she said, finally. I've seen you twice. Both times I was working. Both times you appeared out of nowhere like a well-dressed ghost. Either you're stalking me, which is a crime, or you're having some kind of midlife crisis at age, what, 30? 28. 28. Having a midlife crisis at 28. That's sad. That's genuinely sad. Ryan accepted the cup she slid across the counter. It was a beautiful drink, layers of caramel and cream and espresso, topped with a perfect leaf design in the foam. This looks amazing. It's called the Ego Death. 4 shots, caramel, oat milk, and a sprinkle of existential dread. That'll be $8.75. Ryan handed her 100. Petra stared at the bill, stared at him, stared at the bill again. I don't have change for this. Keep it. That's a $91 tip. On a coffee. Consider it an apology. For what? For the stalking accusation and the midlife crisis comment. And the fact that I'm about to ask you to dinner. The coffee shop went quiet. Or maybe it didn't. Maybe Ryan's brain just filtered out everything except Petra's face, the way her expression shifted from surprise to suspicion to something that looked almost like amusement. No, she said. No? No. I don't date customers. I'll stop being a customer. I also don't date billionaires. I told you, I'm not a... Your watch costs more than my car. Your baseball cap still has the price tag on it, and you're wearing sunglasses indoors, which is either a disguise or a medical condition. Either way, no. Ryan reached up, feeling the back of his cap. Sure enough, there was a tag. In my defense, he said, I've never bought my own clothes before. Jennifer handles that. Who's Jennifer? Your wife? Your girlfriend? Your sister who enables your weird behavior? My assistant, who is very tired and very concerned about my recent life choices. Petra leaned across the counter, close enough that Ryan could smell vanilla again, close enough that he could count the tiny gold flecks in her dark brown eyes. Here's the thing, Mr. Kim. Ryan, whatever. I've worked 3 jobs for 2 years. I've dealt with drunk customers, handsy managers, and a truly unreasonable number of men who think I owe them my time because they left a big tip, or said something nice about my voice, or appeared in my workplace multiple times, like a designer suit-wearing stalker. I don't have time for whatever this is. I don't have energy for whatever this is, and I definitely don't have interest in whatever this is. She straightened up. Your coffee's getting cold. Have a nice day. Ryan took a sip of his coffee. It was, genuinely, the best thing he'd ever tasted. I'll see you tonight, he said. You absolutely will not. I own the building where you work. I have every right to be there. Then I'll switch to the afternoon shift. I'll come in the afternoon. Don't you have a company to run? I have people for that. Petra's composure cracked, just slightly, just enough for Ryan to see the ghost of a smile trying to fight its way to the surface. You're insane, she said. You know that, right? This is not normal behavior. I've been told. By your therapist. By my ex-therapist. She quit, said I was making her question her career choices. This time, Petra did smile. It was small, reluctant, quickly hidden, but it was there. Good night, Mr. Kim, she said, which didn't make sense because it was morning. But Ryan understood. It was a dismissal. A closing statement, a period at the end of a sentence. What Petra didn't understand yet was that Ryan Kim had built a $4 billion empire by refusing to accept periods. He specialized in ellipses, in to be continued, in showing up again and again until the universe gave him what he wanted. And what he wanted, suddenly and inexplicably and completely irrationally, was for Petra Winslow to have dinner with him. He left the coffee shop with his $91 coffee and a plan. Soundwave Studios was a converted warehouse in Koreatown, sandwiched between a Korean barbecue restaurant and a nail salon called Nail Me Once, Shame on You. Ryan had done his research. The studio was small but respected. They'd recorded 2 Grammy-nominated albums and a viral K-pop demo that had gotten a teenager signed to a major label. The owner was a Korean-American woman named Gracie Park, who'd worked in the music industry for 30 years and had, according to LinkedIn, 0 tolerance for nonsense and infinite patience for talent. Ryan liked her already. He walked in at 2 p.m. on Saturday, wearing what he hoped was a casual billionaire look. Dark jeans, a simple white button-down, no watch. Jennifer had confiscated it. The receptionist desk was empty, but he could hear music coming from somewhere deeper in the building. Not recorded music. Live music. Someone was singing. Ryan's heart did something anatomically improbable. He followed the sound down a narrow hallway, past gold records on the walls, past a poster that said, "Music is the answer. We forgot the question," until he reached a door marked Studio B. Through the window, he could see Petra. She was wearing a simple yellow dress, nothing fancy, but it caught the studio lights and made her skin glow, and she was standing in front of a microphone with her eyes closed, singing like the room was empty, like the world was empty, like nothing existed except her and the song. It was something Ryan didn't recognize. Not a cover, not Whitney or Adele or Beyoncé. It was hers. The lyrics were about working late and waking early, about chasing something you couldn't name, about being tired in your bones but alive in your soul. It was sad and hopeful and angry and tender all at once. Ryan stood at that window for 4 minutes and 37 seconds. He knew because he counted. When the song ended, Petra opened her eyes and looked directly at him through the glass. She did not look surprised. "You've got to be kidding me," she mouthed. The studio door opened, and a woman in her 60s, with silver-streaked hair and the energy of someone who'd seen everything twice, emerged. "You must be the stalker," she said. "Ryan Kim, right? I've heard about you." Ryan blinked. "From whom?" "Petra. She called you the weird CEO who thinks my singing voice is a personality trait." The woman extended her hand. "Gracie Park. I own this place, and before you offer to buy it, no. Before you offer to invest, also no. Before you ask about Petra, definitely no. I wasn't going to. You were. Rich men always do. You see something beautiful and immediately try to acquire it. Petra's not a company. She's not a building. She's not an asset. She's a person who happens to have an extraordinary gift and absolutely no interest in being discovered, promoted, or romantically pursued by men who confuse obsession with affection." Ryan absorbed this. It was, he had to admit, fairly accurate. "What if I just want to talk to her?" he asked. Gracie snorted. "Then do what normal people do. Ask her, respect her answer, and for the love of God, stop showing up at her workplaces. It's creepy. I don't care how handsome you are. You think I'm handsome. I think you're a walking harassment lawsuit waiting to happen." Gracie stepped aside. "But you're here, and Petra's been singing that same song for 2 hours, which means she's either working through something or avoiding something. Given your presence, I'm guessing the latter." She walked away, leaving Ryan standing in the hallway like an idiot. The studio door opened again. Petra emerged, still in her yellow dress, her arms crossed, her expression a complicated mixture of annoyance and something else. Curiosity, maybe, or resignation. "You found my third job," she said. "Congratulations. Do you want a medal?" That song was incredible. Petra's jaw tightened. "You weren't supposed to hear that." "Why not?" "Because it's private. Because it's mine. Because I don't perform it for audiences. I perform it for me." And now some billionaire CEO heard it while creeping outside the studio like a khaki-clad serial killer. Ryan looked down at his outfit. "I'm not wearing khakis. It's an expression." "It's not. No one says that. I say it. Therefore, it's an expression." Petra uncrossed her arms, then crossed them again, then finally let them hang at her sides, like she couldn't figure out what to do with her own body. "Why are you here, Ryan? And don't say coffee. This isn't a coffee shop. I wanted to hear you sing again. You could have waited until midnight. Apparently that's your stalking hour." "I couldn't wait." The words hung in the air between them. Ryan watched Petra's face, watched the way her expression flickered. Surprise, suspicion, something softer underneath. "That's a wild thing to say to someone you've known for 3 days," she said. "I know. It sounds like a line from a bad romance novel. I know. The kind with shirtless men on the cover, and titles like The Billionaire's Forbidden Maid or Claimed by the CEO. Please stop. Make me." Ryan took a step closer. Petra didn't step back. "Have dinner with me," he said. "Not because I'm rich," he said. "Not because I'm persistent. Not because I think you owe me anything. Have dinner with me because I haven't stopped thinking about you since Tuesday night, and I don't know what to do about it, and I figured the healthiest option was to ask, instead of continuing to appear at your various places of employment like a romance novel villain." Petra was quiet for a long moment. "That was almost self-aware," she said finally. "I've been practicing. In the mirror. Jennifer makes me do affirmations every morning. Something about emotional intelligence and not making employees cry." "You make employees cry?" "Allegedly. The reports are disputed." Petra's lips twitched. that almost smile again, fighting to break free. One dinner, she said. Ryan's heart stopped, restarted, stopped again. Really? One. And it's not a date, it's an interrogation. I'm going to figure out what your deal is, and then I'm going to explain, in great detail, why this, she gestured between them, is never going to happen. And then you're going to go back to your billionaire life, and I'm going to go back to my 3 jobs, and we're both going to pretend this weird chapter of our lives never happened. That sounds terrible. It's realistic. Realism is overrated, says the man who probably has a private jet. I have 2. One is for emergencies. Petra laughed, actually laughed. A real, full sound that made Ryan's chest ache in a way he didn't fully understand. Fine, she said. Tuesday, 7 p.m., and I'm picking the restaurant because if you take me somewhere with a tasting menu and foam on everything, I will leave. No foam. Got it. No tasting menus. Understood. And no more showing up at my jobs. I make no promises. Ryan, Petra. They stared at each other. Something electric passing between them. Something neither of them wanted to acknowledge. Tuesday, Petra said, and walked away. Ryan stood in the hallway of Soundwave Studios, surrounded by gold records and motivational posters, and realized he was in very serious trouble. The restaurant Petra chose was called Mama Tina's Kitchen. It was a tiny Caribbean-Korean fusion spot in a strip mall between a laundromat and a store that sold exclusively wigs. The sign was hand-painted. The parking lot had 3 spaces. The menu, which Ryan found online after 17 minutes of searching, featured items like jerk chicken bibimbap and oxtail kimchi stew. Ryan arrived at 6:45 p.m., wearing the most casual outfit he owned. He'd told Jennifer to take the night off. He'd turned his phone on silent. He'd even practiced small talk in the mirror, which had made him feel insane. Petra was already there, sitting at a corner table, with a glass of something pink and an expression that suggested she was already regretting her decision. She was wearing a coral pink blouse and simple jeans. No makeup that he could see, or maybe makeup so subtle it looked like none. Her hair was down for the first time, falling past her shoulders in loose waves. Ryan forgot how to walk. "You're early," Petra said as he approached. "You're earlier. I was scoping out emergency exits, in case you turned out to be an actual serial killer. Do you find any? Kitchen, bathroom window, and a very aggressive-looking grandmother at table 4, who I'm fairly certain would intervene if necessary." Ryan glanced at table 4. A tiny elderly woman with bright pink hair winked at him. "She's my backup," Petra said. "Her name is Mrs. Rodriguez. She's 91, and she says you look too pretty to be trustworthy. I'm flattered and offended. You should be both." Petra gestured at the seat across from her. "Sit, order, and then explain why the CEO of a $4 billion company has suddenly decided that a cleaning lady slash barista slash receptionist is worth his attention." Ryan sat. A waitress appeared, young, with a knowing smile, and handed him a menu. "The oxtail stew is excellent," Petra said. "The jerk chicken bibimbap is life-changing. The passion fruit soju is dangerous. I recommend all 3. I'll have what she's having." The waitress nodded and vanished. Silence. Petra took a sip of her pink drink. Her eyes never left his face. "So," she said, "the interrogation begins. Should I be nervous? You should be prepared." She set down her drink. "Question 1. Why me? You could date models, actresses, heiresses, women who actually exist in your tax bracket. Why are you wasting your time on someone who cleans your office floors?" Ryan considered the question. He could give her a smooth answer, something charming, something flattering, something designed to make her like him. But something about Petra made him want to tell the truth. "I don't know," he said. Petra blinked. "That's your answer?" "It's the honest one." Ryan leaned forward. "I've dated models. I've dated actresses. I dated an heiress once, and she spent the entire relationship comparing me to her horse. Apparently, we had similar temperaments. I'm not sure that's the compliment you think it is." "It wasn't. The horse was notoriously difficult." Ryan paused. gathering his thoughts. All of those relationships were transactional. They wanted access, or attention, or the ability to say they dated Ryan Kim. And I wanted, I don't even know, someone to show up to events with? Someone to prove I was normal? Normal people don't have two private jets. Point taken. Ryan picked up his water glass, turned it in his hands. When I heard you singing in that supply closet, something happened. I don't know how to explain it. You weren't performing for anyone. You weren't trying to be seen. You were just existing, fully, in a way I haven't done in years. Petra was quiet. Her expression had shifted, still guarded, but with something softer underneath. That's a lot of emotional weight to put on a stranger singing Whitney Houston with a mop, she said finally. I know. It's probably projection. It's probably loneliness. It's probably the fact that my therapist quit, and I haven't processed anything in 18 months. Ryan smiled, self-deprecating. But I also think, maybe it's real. Maybe I heard something in your voice that I've been looking for. Maybe I'm not crazy. You're definitely crazy. But maybe also right. The food arrived. Oxtail stew, jerk chicken bibimbap, passion fruit soju. It smelled incredible. Mrs. Rodriguez gave Ryan a thumbs up from table 4. Petra picked up her chopsticks. Question 2. What do you actually want? From me, from this. Be specific. I want to know you. That's vague. I want to know why you work 3 jobs. I want to know why you sing in supply closets. I want to know what that song was about, the one you were recording. I want to know what makes you laugh, and what makes you angry, and what you dream about when you're not too tired to dream. Petra stabbed a piece of oxtail with more force than necessary. That's a lot to ask from a first dinner. You said it wasn't a date, so technically, this is just an interview. An interrogation, different energy. Then interrogate me back. Ask me anything. Petra chewed slowly, considering. Then, why haven't you smiled once since you sat down? Ryan blinked. I smiled when. You've been doing the billionaire thing, the controlled expression, the carefully managed micro-reactions. It's very impressive and very exhausting to watch. I've seen you smile for real, twice. Both times, I caught you off guard. So, why the mask? It was a good question, an uncomfortable one. Because if I let people see the real me, they use it against me, Ryan said quietly. Every vulnerability becomes leverage. Every emotion becomes a headline. I learned a long time ago that it's safer to be controlled, boring, predictable. That sounds lonely. It is. Then why do it? Because the alternative is worse. Petra set down her chopsticks. For a long moment, she just looked at him. Really looked, in a way that made Ryan feel exposed. I'm going to tell you something, she said, and you're going to listen without interrupting. Can you do that? Yes. I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm not looking to be saved, or discovered, or swept off my feet by a handsome CEO who thinks my voice is special. I have plans, goals, a life I'm building, piece by piece, on my own terms. I work 3 jobs because those jobs give me flexibility, freedom, the ability to pursue music without relying on anyone else. Kang, Ryan started to speak. Petra held up a hand. Not done. I've met men like you before. Men who see something they want and assume they can acquire it. Men who confuse attraction with connection, intensity with compatibility. I'm not interested in being someone's fascinating distraction. I'm not interested in being a story you tell at parties. Oh, I once dated a cleaning lady who could sing. That's not. Let me finish. Petra's voice was firm but not unkind. You seem like a good Weird, but good. And I'd be lying if I said I wasn't intrigued. But intrigue isn't enough. Not for me. So if you want to be in my life, in any capacity, you need to understand something. I'm not going to rearrange my existence to fit into yours. I'm not going to quit my jobs because you think they're beneath me. I'm not going to stop singing in supply closets because you think I deserve bigger stages. Those choices are mine, not yours. Silence. Ryan felt something shift inside him, some fundamental rearrangement of priorities. Can I speak now? He asked. Yes, I hear you, and I understand. And I'm not asking you to change anything. I'm asking for the opportunity to be part of your life as it already is. Not to rescue you, not to elevate you, just to be there, however much you'll let me. Petra's expression was unreadable. That's a nice speech. It's the truth. Rich people's version of the truth tends to be flexible. Then let me prove it. How? Ryan thought about it. Then I have a proposal. Not a romantic one, a practical one. Give me 1 month, 30 days. During that time, I won't try to change anything about your life. I'll come to your coffee shop as a normal customer. No $100 tips. I'll say hello when I see you at the building. No midnight lurking. I'll be present without being intrusive, and at the end of 30 days, you can decide if you want me around. And if I decide I don't, then I'll respect that. Completely. No grand gestures, no showing up at your studio, no billionaire nonsense. I'll disappear. Petra studied him. You'd actually do that? Walk away? If that's what you wanted, yes. Rich people don't walk away, they acquire. Maybe I'm trying to be a different kind of rich person. Another long silence. Mrs. Rodriguez had abandoned her meal and was watching them with undisguised interest. The waitress had refilled their water 3 times, clearly hoping to overhear something good. Finally, Petra sighed. 1 month, and I have conditions. Name them. No expensive gifts, no trying to get me better jobs, no telling people about my singing, especially not industry people who might try to discover me, and absolutely no showing up at my apartment. You have an apartment? I'm not telling you where it is. Fair. Also, you have to actually drink the coffee at the coffee shop, every time. No ordering and leaving. Some of that coffee is genuinely concerning. Then you'll build character. Petra extended her hand across the table. Deal? Ryan shook it. Her hand was warm, her grip surprisingly strong. Deal, he said, and something began. Day 3. Ryan walked into the Grinding Truth at 8:30 a.m. and ordered the ego death. Petra made it without comment, charged him $8.75, and gave him exact change when he tried to pay with a 20. Training begins, she said. For what? Normal person behavior. It's going to be painful for you. Day 7. Ryan discovered that the oat milk at the Grinding Truth was in fact excellent, and that the regular customers had formed a betting pool about his identity. Current theories include witness protection, disgraced politician, and extremely convincing Ryan Kim impersonator, Petra reported. What's the leading theory? That you're a method actor preparing for a role as a corporate villain. Someone suggested you're the next Marvel antagonist. I could be a Marvel antagonist. You don't have the cheekbones. Day 12. Ryan ran into Petra in the lobby of his building at 11 p.m. She was pushing her cleaning cart. He was coming from a board meeting that had lasted 7 hours and ended with someone crying. Not his fault, mostly. You look terrible, Petra said. Thank you, that's very kind. I mean it. When's the last time you slept? What day is it? Petra stared at him. Then wordlessly, she reached into her cart, pulled out a granola bar, and handed it to him. Eat this. Go home, sleep. I have. Whatever you have can wait. You're no good to anyone if you collapse. She paused. Also, you're scaring the security guards. They think you're a ghost. Ryan ate the granola bar. It was excellent. He didn't ask where she'd gotten it. Day 18. Tell me something about yourself, Ryan said. He was sitting at his usual table at the Grinding Truth, nursing his 4th coffee of the week. Something real. Petra wiped down the counter, considering. I can solve a Rubik's Cube in under 2 minutes. That's impressive. I learned to impress my younger brother. He was going through a phase where he only respected people who could solve puzzles. She smiled. A real one, unexpected and lovely. He's 16 now, still obsessed with puzzles, also very tall. I think he might be taller than me, which I find personally offensive. You have a brother? I have 3, all younger, all significantly more annoying than they were as children. Are you close? Petra's smile softened. Yeah, we are. Day 23. Ryan arrived at Soundwave Studios with 2 cups of coffee, one for Petra, one for Gracie Park. Gracie accepted hers with suspicion. You're still here. I'm persistent. I've noticed. She took a sip, raised an eyebrow. This is good. Where's it from? The Grinding Truth. Petra made this. No, the other barista, but Petra taught her the recipe. Gracie studied him for a long moment. You know, when Petra first told me about you, I thought you were trouble. Classic predatory billionaire, using your money to corner a woman who couldn't afford to tell you no. And now? Now I think you might just be a regular idiot who doesn't know how to be normal. Gracie patted his arm, not unkindly. That's an upgrade, by the way. Day 27. Do you want to hear the song? Petra asked. They were sitting on the steps outside Soundwave Studios. It was 9 p.m. The Korean barbecue restaurant next door was pumping out smells of grilled meat and sesame. What song? The one you heard through the window. I finished it. Ryan's heart rate increased. You'd let me hear it? I'm thinking about it. Petra pulled her knees to her chest. I don't usually let people hear my stuff, especially not people who might have opinions. I promise not to have opinions. That's a lie. You're a CEO. You have opinions about everything. I promise not to express my opinions. Petra laughed. That real, full sound that Ryan had been chasing for almost a month. Better. She pulled out her phone, queued up a recording, and handed it to him with earbuds. If you hate it, lie to me, she said. I'm emotionally fragile. You're the least fragile person I've ever met. That's what I want you to think. In reality, I'm a mess. Ryan put in the earbuds. Pressed play. 3 minutes and 42 seconds later, he was trying very hard not to cry in public. Well? Petra asked. I have no opinions. You're literally crying. That's unrelated. Allergies. In October? Seasonal allergies, very specific. Petra took her phone back, a small smile playing at her lips. So you liked it? I think it's the most beautiful song I've ever heard, Ryan said honestly. And I think you're wasted cleaning buildings and making coffee. And I know I promised not to have opinions, but I'm breaking that promise because you deserve to know. You're extraordinary. And whoever gets to share your music with the world someday is incredibly lucky. Petra was quiet for a long moment. Then she stood, brushing off her jeans. That's 3 days early, she said. What? The 30 days. That speech was very I want to be in your life energy. You're supposed to wait until day 30 for the big emotional moment. I couldn't help it. The song broke me. Petra smiled. Slow, genuine, transformative. You want to get dinner? There's a place down the street that does amazing kimchi fried rice. Is this a date? It's an extension of the interrogation. We're still gathering data. What kind of data? Whether you can handle spicy food without crying. I absolutely cannot. Then it'll be entertaining. She extended her hand. Come on, Mr. Kim. Let's see what you're made of. Ryan took her hand. Things changed after that. Slowly at first, then all at once. The way falling always happens. Ryan started leaving the office at reasonable hours. He discovered that 6 p.m. existed, that there was a world outside spreadsheets and acquisitions, that his apartment had windows that faced west and caught the sunset in shades of orange and gold. He started sleeping. Real sleep, not the 4-hour executive power naps he'd survived on for years, but actual 8-hour stretches where he dreamed about things other than profit margins. Jennifer noticed first. Sir, she said one morning, you're smiling. Am I? You've been smiling for 3 weeks. The legal department is concerned. They think you've been replaced by a pod person. Tell legal I'm fine. Also tell them the Henderson contract needs revision. Clause 7 is ridiculous. Yes, sir. Jennifer paused at the door. Sir, whatever's happening, it suits you. What was happening was Petra. Petra, who texted him at random hours with observations like, just saw a man argue with a pigeon, pigeon won. Petra, who made him listen to obscure 90s R&B and judged him when he didn't know the lyrics. Petra, who fell asleep on his shoulder during a late-night movie and woke up pretending it had never happened. Petra, who was slowly, terrifyingly, becoming essential. I think I'm in trouble, Ryan told his reflection one morning. His reflection, wisely, did not respond. The trouble became apparent at Gracie Park's birthday party. Gracie was turning 65, and Soundwave Studios was celebrating with a gathering that somehow combined karaoke, Korean barbecue, and what appeared to be a piñata shaped like a guitar. Ryan arrived with flowers, tasteful, not expensive, he was learning, and a card that Jennifer had helped him pick out. He was wearing jeans and a coffee brown sweater, looking almost like a normal person, feeling almost like one too. Petra met him at the door. She was wearing an orange wrap dress that made her glow, her hair loose and curling at the ends. "You came," she said. "You invited me. I wasn't sure you would. Rich people don't usually show up to strip mall parties. I'm not like other rich people." That's either the worst pickup line I've ever heard, or genuinely true. She took his arm. Casual, natural, like she'd done it 100 times. "Come on. Gracie wants to meet you properly, without the stalker accusations." The party was wonderful, chaotic, human in ways Ryan's life hadn't been for years. He ate too much. He sang karaoke, badly, drunkenly, with Petra laughing beside him. He met Petra's co-workers, her friends, the regulars from the Grinding Truth who'd been betting on his identity. "I told them you were a method actor," Petra whispered, "for privacy reasons." "That's very thoughtful. Also because the truth is weirder. My billionaire boyfriend showed up at my jobs until I agreed to date him. Sounds like a Lifetime movie." Ryan's brain short-circuited. "Boyfriend?" Petra froze. That wasn't, I meant, you called me your boyfriend." It slipped out. "Do you want me to be your boyfriend? I want you to stop making this into a thing." "It's already a thing. You said boyfriend." Ryan was grinning now. Full, uncontrolled, embarrassingly wide. "You admitted we're dating." "I admitted nothing. This conversation is entrapment. Petra Winslow wants to be my girlfriend." "I absolutely do not." Ryan kissed her. Not a planned kiss, not strategic, not controlled, not any of the things Ryan Kim was supposed to be. Just a kiss, in the middle of a strip mall party, surrounded by karaoke and birthday cake, and the smell of Korean barbecue. Petra kissed him back. When they finally broke apart, Gracie Park was slow clapping from across the room. "Finally," she said. "I was starting to worry you'd both die of repression." The video went viral on a Thursday. Ryan didn't know about it until Jennifer burst into his office at 10 a.m., tablet in hand, face pale. "Sir," she said, "we have a problem." The video was 17 seconds long. It showed Petra at the Grinding Truth, singing while she cleaned the espresso machine. Someone had filmed her through the window, uploaded it with the caption, "Found a star at my local coffee shop," and within hours, it had 3 million views. By noon, it had 8 million. By evening, entertainment blogs were running stories. "Mystery singer goes viral. Who is the coffee shop angel?" The voice that's breaking the internet. Petra called Ryan at 7 p.m. Her voice was flat in a way he'd never heard before. "Someone found out where I work," she said. "There's a news van outside the coffee shop. I'm coming." "Ryan, stay inside. Don't talk to anyone. I'm coming." He broke approximately 14 traffic laws getting there. The news van was, indeed, parked outside, along with 3 other vehicles and a small crowd of people with phones. Ryan pushed through them, ignoring shouted questions, and found Petra in the back room, with her manager, a middle-aged woman named Sandra, who looked like she'd rather be anywhere else. "This is insane," Sandra was saying. "We've had 50 interview requests. Record labels are calling. Someone from Universal left a voicemail." "I don't want any of it," Petra said. Her arms were crossed, her expression closed. "I didn't ask for this." "Honey, nobody asks for viral fame. It just happens." "Then make it unhappen." Ryan cleared his throat. Both women turned. "There's a back exit," he said. "I have a car. We can go somewhere quiet." Petra looked at him. Really looked, for the first time since he'd arrived. Her eyes were red. She'd been crying. "Did you do this?" she asked. The question hit Ryan like a physical blow. "What?" "The video. The exposure. Did you arrange it? To help my career? To give me a platform? Petra, I would never. Because you know the right people. You could make this happen. You could orchestrate the whole thing and make it look organic. I didn't. I swear to you, I had nothing to do with this. Petra stared at him. The silence stretched. I want to believe you, she said finally, but I don't know if I can. The drive to Ryan's apartment was silent. Petra sat in the passenger seat, staring out the window, her jaw tight. Ryan wanted to reach for her hand, to say something comforting, to fix this the way he fixed problems at work, with money, with resources, with the sheer force of his will. But some things couldn't be fixed like that. I didn't do it, he said again, as they pulled into his building's garage. I heard you the first time. Do you believe me? Petra was quiet for a long moment. Then, I believe you didn't do it on purpose, but I also believe that being with you comes with exposure I didn't sign up for. You're Ryan Kim. People take pictures of you eating lunch. They write articles about your haircuts. Dating you means dating that. Dating me means dating me. Not my public image. You don't get to separate those things. Petra finally turned to face him. I've spent 2 years building a life on my own terms. 3 jobs, no social media, singing in supply closets because that's where I feel safe. And now, because some random person with a phone saw me through a coffee shop window, all of that is gone. It doesn't have to be gone. We can manage this. I have people. That's the problem, Petra's voice cracked. You have people. You have resources. You have solutions for everything. But this isn't your problem to solve, Ryan. It's my life, and I need to figure out how to live it without being managed by a billionaire who thinks money fixes everything. Ryan felt the words like shrapnel. I'm not trying to manage you. You showed up at 3 of my jobs. You investigated me. You orchestrated our entire relationship like a business acquisition. Petra laughed. Bitter. Unlike her. Maybe you didn't leak the video, but you set the stage. You made me visible. You pulled me into your world, and now your world is consuming me. That's not fair. Maybe not, but it's true. Silence. Ryan stared at the steering wheel, trying to organize his thoughts, trying to find the words that would make this right. What do you want me to do? He asked finally. I don't know. Petra's voice was small, exhausted. I think I need space to figure out what I want, to deal with all of this. Space. Yes. How much space? Petra opened the car door. I don't know, Ryan. Maybe a lot, maybe forever. Maybe just until I stop feeling like I'm drowning. She got out of the car. She didn't look back. The next 3 weeks were the worst of Ryan's life. He threw himself into work, the old coping mechanism, the familiar escape. 18-hour days, back-to-back meetings, projects he'd delegated years ago, reclaimed and micromanaged into oblivion. His board was thrilled. His employees were terrified. Jennifer, bless her, brought him coffee and said nothing about the shadows under his eyes. Sir, she said one morning, you have a visitor. I don't have any meetings until... It's not a meeting, Jennifer hesitated. It's Gracie Park. Gracie Park was sitting in his lobby, arms crossed, looking like a very elegant, avenging angel. You look terrible, she said when he appeared. Thank you. I've been practicing. Sit down. She gestured at the chair across from her. We need to talk about Petra. Is she okay? No, she's miserable. She's been recording the same song for 3 weeks, and every version sounds like she's crying into the microphone. Gracie leaned forward. What did you do? I existed. Apparently, that was enough. Don't be dramatic. She told me about the fight, about the video, about her accusation. She thought I leaked it. Did you? No. Ryan's voice was sharp. I would never do that to her. I know, Gracie settled back. I've spent 65 years reading people. You're many things. Obsessive, intense, probably in need of therapy. But you're not manipulative. Not about this. Then why did she? Because she's scared. Gracie's voice softened. Petra spent her whole life being invisible on purpose. It's safer that way. Easier. And then you showed up, and you saw her. Really saw her. And that was terrifying enough. Add viral fame on top of it. And she panicked. blamed the easiest target. Me. You. Gracie sighed. She knows it wasn't your fault. She's known for 2 weeks. But she's stubborn, and she's proud, and she doesn't know how to apologize. She doesn't have to apologize. Of course she does. She accused you of something awful. But she's also not wrong that your world is complicated. That being with you means being visible. That her life would change in ways she can't control. Ryan was quiet for a long moment. What do I do? That depends. Do you love her? The question shouldn't have been surprising. It was, after all, the obvious question, the one Ryan had been avoiding for weeks. Yes, he said. I think I've loved her since she told me my tie was crooked. Gracie smiled. Then fight for her. Not by showing up at her jobs. We've discussed how creepy that is. Fight by proving you can be trusted. Fight by giving her the space she asked for, while making it clear you're still there. Fight by being patient. I'm not very good at patient. Learn. Gracie stood, gathering her bag. One more thing. The video situation. I've been handling it. Turning down interviews, threatening legal action against the worst stalkers. But there's one offer that might actually help. What kind of offer? A record label. Small, independent, run by a woman I've worked with for 20 years. They're not interested in making Petra famous. They're interested in helping her record an album on her own terms. That sounds perfect. It is. But Petra won't even discuss it. Says she doesn't want anything connected to the video. Gracie met Ryan's eyes. She needs someone to convince her that taking help isn't weakness. That building something with support isn't the same as being controlled. And you think that someone is me? I think that someone needs to be her, but I also think she might listen to you. Gracie headed for the door, then paused. Oh, and Ryan? The next time you want to woo a woman, maybe start with coffee and conversation. The workplace surveillance thing is genuinely unsettling. Noted. Ryan waited 2 more weeks. Then he did something he'd never done before. He wrote a letter. Not an email, not a text, an actual letter on actual paper in his actual handwriting, which was terrible. Jennifer had offered to transcribe, and he'd refused. Dear Petra, I'm not good at this. Words, I mean. The personal kind. I can give speeches to thousands of people, but writing to one person feels impossible. I'm not going to apologize for who I am. I'm a CEO. I have resources. I live in a world with cameras and scrutiny and complications. That's not going to change. But I want you to know what I would change, if I could. I would change the fact that you felt unsafe, that you felt exposed, that something meant to be private became public without your consent. I would change the way I met you. Instead of showing up at your jobs like a well-dressed stalker, I would have, I don't know, joined a book club, taken a pottery class, something normal people do to meet other normal people. Except you're not normal. You're extraordinary. And I think part of me knew, that first night in the lobby, that I was meeting someone who would ruin me for anyone else. Gracie told me about the record label. She said you're afraid that taking the opportunity means letting the viral moment win, that you'd be capitalizing on something that hurt you. I understand that fear, but I also think you're wrong. Your voice isn't famous because of a 17-second video. It's famous because it's undeniable. Because anyone who hears it feels something they can't explain. Because you have a gift that deserves to be shared. Not because the internet demanded it, but because you choose to share it. That's the difference. Choice. You can choose to hide forever. You can choose to let this moment define you. Or you can choose to take control. To make music on your terms. Share it on your terms. Build something that belongs entirely to you. I don't want to be your manager. I don't want to be your producer. I don't even want to be your boyfriend, if that's not what you want. I just want to be there, however much you'll let me. If you never want to see me again, I'll respect that. But if there's any chance, any possibility, that you might want to try again, I'll be at Mama Tina's kitchen on Saturday at 7 p.m. Corner table, ordering oxtail stew and waiting. Whatever you decide, I hope you know, meeting you was the best thing that ever happened to me. Ryan. He sent the letter on Tuesday. He waited. Saturday arrived. Ryan sat at the corner table at Mama Tina's, wearing a simple white shirt and dark jeans, trying not to look at the door every 30 seconds. He was failing. 7 p.m, no Petra. 7:15 p.m, still no Petra. 7:32 p.m. The waitress brought him water with a sympathetic look. 7:45 p.m. Ryan's chest ached. At 7:58 p.m, the door opened. Petra walked in wearing a sky blue sundress and an expression Ryan couldn't read. She paused at the entrance, scanning the restaurant, and when her eyes found his, she didn't smile. But she didn't leave either. She crossed the room and slid into the seat across from him. "You waited," she said. "I said I would. It's been an hour. Time flies when you're panicking internally." Petra's lips twitched, that almost smile he'd missed more than he could express. "I got your letter," she said. "I gathered. It was good, for someone who claims to be bad at words. I had 17 drafts. Jennifer threatened to quit if I made her proofread another one." Petra laughed, small, surprised, real. "I thought about what you said. About choice. About control." She took a breath. "I called the record label." Ryan's heart stopped. "You did?" "We're meeting next week, to discuss terms, to see if it's a good fit." She met his eyes. "I'm not signing anything yet, but I'm considering it." "That's amazing. It's terrifying. But I've decided that terrifying isn't always bad." She reached across the table, her fingers brushing his. "I also decided something else." "What?" "I owe you an apology. For the accusation. For the running. For being too scared to trust you." "Petra, let me finish." Her voice was steady. "You didn't do anything wrong. You showed up. You were patient. You gave me space when I asked for it, and stayed present when I needed to know you were there. That's not manipulation. That's love. Or more." The word hung in the air between them. "Love?" Ryan repeated. "Don't make me say it again. It was hard enough the first time. I would like you to say it again. Specifically. With more detail." "You're the worst." "I've been told." Petra smiled. Full, warm. The smile Ryan had been waiting weeks to see. "I love you, Ryan Kim. Despite your 2 private jets and your creepy workplace surveillance, and your genuinely concerning coffee consumption. I love the way you laugh when you're caught off guard. I love that you're trying to be a different kind of rich person. I love that you wrote me a letter with terrible handwriting and 17 drafts. 18, actually. I didn't count the first one because it was mostly incoherent rambling. 18 drafts." Petra squeezed his hand. "That's the most romantic thing anyone's ever done for me. I can do more romantic things. I have resources. We've discussed this. No expensive gifts. What about reasonable gifts?" I saw a mug that said, "World's okayest singer," and I thought. Petra kissed him. Not a planned kiss. Not strategic, not controlled. Just a kiss. In the corner of Mama Tina's kitchen, surrounded by the smell of oxtail stew and the sound of Mrs. Rodriguez cheering from table 4. When they broke apart, Ryan was smiling so hard his face hurt. "Is this a date?" he asked. "This is a reconciliation. Can reconciliations also be dates?" "I'll allow it. Does that mean you're my girlfriend again?" "Officially? I never stopped being your girlfriend. I was just on a dramatic hiatus." "That's the most you thing I've ever heard." Petra grinned. "Get used to it, Mr. Kim. You're stuck with me now." Ryan decided that being stuck didn't sound so bad. 1 year later, the album was called Supply Closet Sessions. Petra had insisted on the title, despite the record label's concerns that it wasn't marketable, but Ryan had learned, over the past year, that arguing with Petra about her music was pointless. She knew what she wanted and she would get it, with or without anyone's approval. The album debuted at number 3 on the Billboard charts. Ryan celebrated by buying The Grinding Truth, not to change it, but to ensure Petra would always have a place to make coffee if she wanted. She'd rolled her eyes at the purchase, but hadn't complained when he installed a state-of-the-art espresso machine. Gracie Park celebrated by throwing a party at Soundwave Studios that lasted until 4 a.m. and ended with karaoke renditions of every song on the album. Petra's brothers celebrated by showing up unannounced at Ryan's apartment, eating all his food, and threatening him with extremely creative violence if he ever hurt their sister. "They're joking. Petra had said afterward. Mostly. The one with the tattoos seemed serious. That's Gilbert. He's in law school. The threats are aspirational. Now, on a warm Saturday evening, Ryan stood in the crowd at Petra's first major concert, a sold-out show at the Greek Theatre. 5,000 people gathered to hear the voice that had once echoed in supply closets and recording studios. She was magnificent. Not because she was technically perfect. She wasn't. She missed a note here, stumbled over a lyric there, laughed at herself in a way that made the audience love her more. She was magnificent because she was real. Because she wasn't performing for the crowd. She was sharing something sacred, trusting 5,000 strangers with pieces of her soul. When she sang the song Ryan had first heard through the studio window, the one about working late and waking early, about chasing something you couldn't name, he cried again. Allergies, he would say later, very persistent. After the show, Petra found him backstage, still in her concert dress, orange this time. She'd developed a fondness for bright colors, grinning like she'd conquered the world. So? She asked, what did you think? I think I'm the luckiest person alive. That's not a review. That's flattery. It's both. Ryan pulled her into his arms. I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of me too. Petra rested her head on his shoulder. Did I mention I'm headlining a tour next year? 15 cities. 3 months. You mentioned. Did I mention you're coming with me? That was implied. Did I mention I love you? You could mention it more often. I love you, Ryan Kim, even though you still have 2 private jets and questionable taste in baseball caps. I love you too, Petra Winslow, even though you make fun of my baseball caps. They stood like that for a long moment, surrounded by the chaos of backstage, crew members rushing, equipment being moved, photographers asking for one more shot. What happens now? Ryan asked. Petra lifted her head, eyes sparkling. I'm thinking oxtail stew. It's midnight. Mama Tina's is open late for concert nights. Mrs. Rodriguez promised to save us a table. She's still there? She's 92 now. She says she's not dying until she sees us get married. Ryan's heart stuttered. Married? Petra smiled. That slow, knowing smile that had ruined him from the very beginning. Eventually, she said. If you play your cards right. What cards are those? I don't know. I'm making this up as I go. She took his hand, but I think we're doing okay so far, don't you? Ryan thought about supply closets and midnight lobbies, about coffee shops and recording studios, about letters with terrible handwriting and dinners that were definitely dates. Yeah, he said, I think we're doing okay. And they were. And that is the story of Ryan and Petra, proof that love can find you in the most unexpected places. If you enjoyed this story, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment telling us your favorite part. Also, hit that notification bell so you never miss another story. We've got so many more coming your way. More romance, more drama, more characters you'll fall in love with. Bye for now.